What makes it so difficult is we don't know what happened. You know, you don't know if she's alive, if she's not, what somebody has her, what's going on, you know, so it really is devastating not to know, to just be in limbo.
Baby, we miss you, we love you, we can't wait to get you in our arms again. You got 100 pounds of kisses coming your way. It's incredible to can't even describe it in words, what her mother is going through. What the family is going through. This is our first grandchild, so and only grandchild. So this has been extremely emotional at times.
Welcome to Young Black Lives Honored. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Also give this video a thumbs up and leave a respectful comment below. On July 10th, 2013, at 11:05 a.m., John Anthony Webb called 911 in Oakland, California. According to the man, his daughter, 21-month-old Daphne Webb, had been kidnapped from the back seat of his 2002 black Ford Expedition SUV. He said that when he went into Gazali's supermarket on International Boulevard, he bought a beverage and left his mother and Daphne in the vehicle. When he came out of the store and returned to the SUV, Daphne was nowhere in sight.
Our breaking news out of Oakland tonight. This toddler has been kidnapped. This is a photograph of 21-month-old Daphne Viola Webb.
No doubt, Pam. We have some new information for you. Right now, we have Cron 4 News has learned that they are searching an area near where this child lives, off of 580 near Keller Avenue.
Think that the father is a suspect, do we? At this time, the Oakland Police Department is not looking at John Webb, the father of the 21-month-old missing little girl, as a suspect. But we are looking to verify factual information by reaching out to the community and asking if anybody has seen him or the child in the last 30 days to help us narrow that timeline down.
Where's the mother? Where's the mother?
The mother's also being interviewed by investigators, and the family has been extremely cooperative with the Oakland Police Department. Well, not only interviewing family, but also associated family members as well. So we're being extremely methodical and thorough with the investigation to verify and factualize information that has been provided to us.
Is there any question right now whether the child was actually in the vehicle?
That's something that we will always look at in a missing persons case, is to be able to factually verify information. So we're looking at this from all different angles.
At the time, Daphne lived on the 800 block of Green Ridge Drive off Keller Avenue with her father and his mother. Her 87-year-old grandmother suffered from dementia, and John had custody of the 21-month-old, while his wife, her mother, Kiana Davis Webb, lived in a rehab. According to John's story, she was seated in the rear right passenger seat of the truck, and someone took her from there. She had brown hair and brown eyes, stood 2 feet tall, and weighed 30 pounds. The child was last seen wearing orange pajamas and pink socks. Authorities initially treated Daphne's case as a non-family abduction, and after they spoke to witnesses, they came up with a potential suspect. The witnesses recall seeing an African American or Hispanic woman in her 30s with long straight black hair walking away from the area, carrying a little girl who matched Daphne's description. None of the witnesses saw the woman take the child from the vehicle. This led investigators to search the Oakland area to locate the woman. However, the search did not turn up evidence that could help in locating Daphne Webb. Kiana's family, Daphne's maternal family, reached out to Class Kids for assistance with her case and bringing awareness. The foundation's leader, Mark Class, spoke with the media pertaining to this case.
All right, joining us now to talk about the search for Daphne Webb, the missing toddler, Mark Class, who is with the Class Kids Foundation. He is an advocate for missing children. Thank you for coming in.
Sure thing.
Of course, there's a lot we don't know. There are a lot of missing pieces to this, not only that she's missing, but there's so much we still don't understand. But what are your first impressions? You've been involved in so many cases like this.
Well, this has shades of Hassani Campbell. I mean, it's a situation in Oakland where somebody finds a location that is under no surveillance whatsoever, and then a child child mysteriously disappears, apparently never to be seen again. Nobody saw anybody take the child. You look back and nobody has seen the child for quite some period of time. The family's reached out to us. The mother's side of the family has reached out to us, and we're waiting to have a conversation with them to get them to sign a consent form. We're going to help them with flyers, and we're going to help them with social media, get them up onto get a Twitter account for them and get them up onto Facebook.
What does it signal to you that the father was arrested on child endangerment charges?
Oh, it's terrible. No, it's absolutely terrible, particularly when they gave him $100,000 bail. I mean, that tells you that they suspect deeper and darker things.
John was interviewed by investigators, and later the same day, police arrested the father on suspicion of child endangerment. Authorities believed that it was irresponsible for Daphne to be left in the care of her grandmother, who was living with a disability.
Just in tonight, Crown 4 has obtained a photograph of the missing child's father. He is now behind bars. John Webb is accused of child endangerment. He is being held at Santa Rita County Jail on $100,000 bail.
Father's behind bars, but they're still not calling John Webb a suspect. This as a massive search is underway, trying to find this kidnapped toddler.
The district attorney refused to file charges against him, and he was released 2 days later. Her mother was also questioned by authorities, but it was later ruled that she did not have anything to do with her daughter's disappearance.
Now at 8. An air and water search turns up no sign of 21-month-old Daphne Webb. The investigation taking a new turn tonight.
We have two parallel investigations that are taking place now.
Daphne's disappearance has left a lot of unanswered questions, both for police and for her neighbors.
I've lived here on Green Ridge for the past 4 years. I've never seen the gentleman in question. I've never seen the child. I've never seen a mother. I've never seen them at all. Yesterday was a revelation that it was happening, and when we came home and saw the media, everything that was happening, it's like surreal. It's just a surreal situation. I mean,
Never heard a baby cry.
Never heard a baby cry.
And our team coverage on this story continues. We're going to map out 3 key locations where little Daphne was reportedly last seen, the girl's home where she and her father lived that was searched, and then the main search location where Jeff Bush was, right here by Oakland's airport. We'll fly in here on the big board. And this right here is the last place 21-month-old Daphne was reportedly seen, in a car outside Gaza's supermarket, 79th and International. Meanwhile, we head east now, up in the Oakland Hills. Investigators have also been searching the father's home, John Webb's home. The home is on Green Ridge Drive near Keller Avenue and 580. Crews are also searching the open land and a trailhead just north of this home on Green Ridge. Detectives planning to canvass this wooded area again soon. Finally, the last search area, that is happening at Martin Luther King Regional Shoreline Park, where Webb often took his daughter to play. This afternoon, the search continued and expanded into San Leandro Bay, and we have new video just into the Crown 4 newsroom of the search efforts tonight at that park. This is the Oakland police chopper flying over San Leandro Bay and the shoreline surrounding it at MLK Park. Police boats were out this afternoon but had to be pulled around 4 o'clock because of high tide. Oakland Council member Larry Reed was among those helping with today's search.
I'm a parent, and unlike any parent whose child is missing, you would want answers, and you want to know that every effort is being expended to try to find out where that child may be. There's a lot of questions that's yet to be answered, and this is, this caused you to think. I certainly hope we find this child.
A week into the search, 50 to 60 loved ones and supporting community members showed up as they prayed for Daphne's safe return.
Family members and parishioners all showed up to lend their support and their prayers, and they're hoping for Daphne's safe return.
And you'll feel the pain of what it is for your child to come up missing or your grandchild to come up missing. You don't wish that on anybody. But our hope is that she's going to come back to our arms, all right? And our hope is that we're going to see her happy and healthy and unharmed once again. That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're praying for. That's where our faith is right now, okay? We expect the best. We are prepared for the worst, but we want to see her again.
I just want the baby home, my baby home. My little mommies. Yeah, that's it. We just want her home. Everybody want her home.
2 weeks following her disappearance, Daphne's maternal grandfather, Kevin Davis, spoke with the media, giving updates and telling of the emotional turmoil it had on their family. Daphne was their first and only grandchild at the time. The link to the full video is in the description below.
The baby was taken while the mother was there. Who would do that?
Serious questions being raised surrounding the story told regarding the July 10th disappearance of baby Daphne Webb. The man raising the questions, her grandfather, Kevin Davis.
A lot of questions that we don't have answers to yet.
I caught up with Davis outside this market on International Boulevard and 79th Avenue in Oakland, the location where the baby's father, John Webb, who you see here, says someone kidnapped the 21-month-old from inside his car with her grandmother while he was inside the store.
For no more than 5 minutes.
However, Davis says that aspect of the story is troubling.
Who would take a baby with an adult sitting in the car? That's kind of strange.
Then there's where Daphne's father says he parked the car that day. Granddad says he questions that as well.
From where we're standing, where he parked at, the car couldn't have been in view from the front of the store.
So his car was around the corner.
Was right. I would have parked here in the front of the store with a baby in the car. You know, I know people who do that. If they just leave an iPad or a phone in the car, they make sure the car is in eyesight within view.
Add to that, Davis says, is the fact that baby Daphne was supposedly locked in a child's car seat when the abduction occurred.
The car seat had 3 straps, 2 coming down in the front and 1 coming up in the middle. So in order for you to get her out of the car seat, so just to get her out of that would have taken some work. There wasn't a quick release. No, if you got time to do that while you're trying to steal somebody or kidnap somebody's kid, who's got that while an adult is sitting in the car, you know, it's kind of like, who is this person? That's what we need to be interviewing. We need to talk to you.
Daphne's grandfather says for now he will settle for talking to John Webb, seeking answers to some of these questions.
And those are just a few that I have.
Suspicions were raised regarding the truthfulness of John's story when interviews of loved ones and neighbors determined that the child may not have been last seen since at least late June.
Police are still looking for this little child, and he is saying he has nothing to do with their disappearance.
HLN contributor John Lieberman, you've been investigating, you've been making calls, you've been digging. What have you learned?
Here's what we know at this point, Jane. It's very interesting. Police have released a photo of the little girl and her father because they're trying to put a timeline together of when they were last seen together, because family and friends say that they weren't seen together until 2 weeks before the little girl went missing, and police are skeptical that this was a stranger abduction in broad daylight, in late morning, while this man was in the convenience store for all of a few minutes. So they're trying to put together this timeline to see if the dad's story adds up.
Here's the problem, the big problem with the father's story. Police say the last confirmed sighting of baby Daphne, and look at this adorable child, is from late June. And we're well into July, people. Despite the dad says, oh, she disappeared July 10th. So there's a gap of about 2 weeks when the family sees this little girl and when he says, oh, she disappears while I get an energy drink at the convenience.
3 weeks after her disappearance, a second vigil was held in Daphne's honor.
The vigil just wrapped up. Friends, like you said, family, loved ones, former church members were all here singing hymns and praying for Lily Daphne's safe return. Right behind me, there's still some of the people from the vigil gathered here. But if we go straight to the video, we'll see Daphne's mother. She was inconsolable, crying deep sobs during the singing. And even after the vigil wrapped up, loved ones stayed close and offered up another prayer to her to offer encouragement. Meanwhile, her family is holding their second vigil in hopes of bringing the toddler home. Loved ones say they're reminiscing and they talked about the happy baby they knew and loved. This is what they had to say.
I was in their house and saw how much love Kiana had for Daphne and John, and and even there for voice lessons that Daphne probably laughed at. But we all miss her. I miss her so much, and I want her back. We all do. I miss holding her. We miss hearing her cries and her laughs. And I'm just praying like everybody else that she comes back and comes back soon.
Coincidentally, church members here at First Assemblies of God were planning a vigil of their own before finding out the family was also planning to hold a vigil here. As they pray for little Daphne, they say they hope to have her home soon and in perfect health.
A month later, her family held a walk which spanned 8 blocks to keep awareness alive surrounding Daphne's case. Her mother spoke to media sources at the demonstration.
Well, Daphne Webb's family took to the streets here in Oakland today to show their determination in finding the missing toddler and to also express their frustrations in the police investigation.
Who do we want?
Daphne!
When do we want her?
Now! Chanting her name and holding her picture, friends and family of missing toddler Daphne Webb marched down the streets of Oakland, making sure no one forgets they are still looking for her. Even strangers came in their sneakers to show their support.
Do whatever we need to do to bring another baby home.
Who do we want?
Daphne! The march ran about 8 blocks from the police station and ended with prayers on the steps of City Hall. Amen. Daphne's grandfather believes authorities' efforts to find the 21-month-old have stopped.
It's been kind of tough, only because we're more anxious to get her back now than ever. We haven't heard anything, and we know somebody knows something. We're just waiting to hear.
Oakland police tell Cron 4 News kidnapping and homicide detectives are on this top priority case. They are working to rescue her.
Behind these walls, countless hours of investigative leads that are being followed up and countless hours of video surveillance. So we have teams going over, looking at, being very thorough, very meticulous.
Noticeably absent today, Daphne's father, John Webb. Daphne's mother came and is devastated by the disappearance of her child. She struggles to keep hope alive. Her daughter will come home.
What makes it so difficult is we don't know what happened. You know, you don't know if she's alive, if she's not, what somebody has her, what's going on. You know, so it really is devastating not to know, to just be in limbo.
About 6 months later, while she remained in treatment, Kiana gave birth to a baby girl with her husband, John. Despite a massive search that focused on various locations around the East Bay, including the area around John Webb's Oakland home and the Martin Luther King Jr. Regional Shoreline near Oakland International Airport, Daphne has not been found. In the months following her disappearance, John regularly declined to comment on the case. In May 2014, John Webb took his own life in the house the family shared on Green Ridge Drive. He was found by his adult daughter around 8 p.m. 50 years old at the time, John had taken an overdose of prescription medication. No note or clues as to why he took his life were found at the scene. His passing left Daphne's family with even more unanswered questions. The child's great aunt said that he was the last person with her and they had closure on him, but not on her. An autopsy showed no signs of trauma to his body, and police said there was no evidence of foul play.
Pam, neighbors say John became very withdrawn after baby Daphne went missing, basically staying to himself. Now on Friday, one of the neighbors says she heard one of his daughters screaming hysterically. Apparently she had walked into the apartment and found him dead of the suicide. Now the coroner's office removed the body on Friday, but neighbors tell us cops were there doing further investigating today.
And tonight, he speaks with missing child advocate Mark Klass with the Klass Kids Foundation. As Dan found out, Klass minces no words when it comes to John Webb.
I'm 95% sure that he's responsible for her disappearance.
Missing child advocate Mark Klass with the Klass Kids Foundation says John Webb was a suspect in his daughter's disappearance for good reason.
His story never really added up. I think that everybody realized that it was a fabrication, that he went to extremes to avoid a surveillance camera. and that he then stonewalled everybody on Daphne's disappearance from that point forward. My thoughts are is that maybe the guilt got to him. Maybe he did himself in out of guilt over what he had done to his daughter.
Whatever the reason for Webb's suicide, Class says the real tragedy here is that now the family will likely never know what happened to Daphne.
Knowing is always better than not knowing, and this leaves them in a constant limbo. I would imagine they will never now find out what happened to baby Daphne, and they deserve those answers, most assured.
1 year following her disappearance, a crowd gathered in Daphne's honor. It was an emotional scene as her loved ones sang. They said they were still searching for closure and convened at 79th Avenue and International Boulevard. Her grandfather spoke to the crowd and the media during the memorial. As of this video, Daphne has not been found and her case has been classified as endangered missing. If you have any information regarding this case, I urge you to reach out to Oakland Police Department at 510-777-3333. That's 510-777-3333. You can also reach out to any other relevant authorities. May the family and friends of Daphne Viola Webb find solace in the happy memories, and may they be able to receive closure. Thank you.